Yo YouTube, welcome back to another video, and I just wanted to push out a quick strat, after the update for a trade strat. Of course it can be improved upon, but we did get a better score than last time. In terms of what I used, you'll see down there, and it did give me around 2.285 billion. I used a more free-to-play friendly team. I'm saying it's free-to-play friendly because instead of running Broly and Mob, we're just running Law and Shanks instead. So it should be a lot easier for you guys to do because Shanks is a free monarch, and with Law, all you need is marksman, because Law is applying wanted for you guys, and Law is also pulling enemies back, which of course makes it so you of course die a bit later. But at wave like 53ish, it's just a stupid ass Kiyu boss. Well, it spawns at, was it spawn at 40? Yeah, it spawns at 40, and yeah, I'm sure you guys know that it's just an annoying boss, so dealing with it is just painful. But yeah, in terms of setup, yeah, let me talk about the familiars I used on all of these units. So for my Eins, I used this familiar. If you don't want to use this, you can give him a chopper with C3. And then for Brook, we're running a Fu. We would ideally, of course, use a, what do we use? We'll use a Deadeye, a Burb on him. But of course, right now, it's a honest tournament, so his ability does no damage. So we're also using Stark, and I'm running the Doctor familiar. It doesn't really matter because we've got a Law here for Rupture and Shanks for Rupture. So pretty much for Stark, you can just run anything, whatever you want, just something that gives us a lot of range. Then Sanjaru, you need a good crit burb, so you can see I got a little bit of crit chance and of course a more crit damage, so that's pretty much why I'm running him. And then for my Umas, I am running, am I just being forgetful? There it is. Something that gives me good damage, crit chance, and good crit damage. And then for Law, as I said, I'm just running a Burb with a lot of range, so that's all you need for these guys. And for Shanks, yeah, the unit we're using Caloric Storm for, as you can see, I give him my best Burb, 36, 24, 27, 29. So let's just get into this, and I wish you guys good luck, mate. Oh yeah, and also, yeah, they put a timer for conference as well, so pretty much just time your run for the final 10 minutes or final 3 minutes, and good luck, mate. That's all I say. Good luck. Let's just get into this. Alright, so, pretty much, my bad, I was yawning, mate, I'm tired. But, yeah, this is not too hard to follow. You want to be placing your Uma down instantly, and of course doing the stats, 2 rests into the 2, of course, stats. Turn the VFX off for each unit. Alright, so basically you want to be putting these 2 spells, Aura of Overlord, Aura of Despair, and then the Greater Undead summons. And you're going to be spawning in Shanks through Caloric Storm. And you're placing your Law here to, of course, apply the Zone 3, because if he has Zone 3, of course, it applies to all enemies with Wanted. So that's pretty much what you want. See, any enemy that enters this flipping massive room is applied with Wanted, so it's perfect. And that's why we can run no farms, because Wanted makes enemies give 30% more yen when we call them, so you can legit... oh my days, you can legit run this with no farms. Place some Brook down over here, so at least Irons and Shanks is in his range. You set this Law to last, and pretty much our main carry for this is gonna be Shanks, because I'm sure you guys know he does some crazy ass damage. He's definitely top 3 units in the game right now. And the fact that he's a free unit is so stupid as well. You just want to be non-stop doing your Uma stats. But for now, since Laws of Room 1 range is pretty small, yeah, then you might as well just only stay on Room 2 for now. And you're going to be placing your Starks in a specific way. Set this one to last, and place this one, set it to last. Turning VFX off. Placing this one over here, so it's hitting this line as well. And place that one over there. Just be non-stop putting your stats in, and at this point you can just pretty much auto upgrade strengths, and of course just set him to strongest, and that's fine. You can see his DPS will just keep skyrocketing. Because when enemies are stunned in his range, he just pretty much just follow up, which is crazy. Actually just a stupid unit. Don't know how he was let off like this. The fact that he's free as well. Imagine he didn't have that free Monarch passive and he had an extra passive instead of that. That would have been nuts. He would have actually been so far ahead of everyone. I do still think he's like, he probably is top one, mate. There's such a chance he's top one. He's just that stupid. He can get up to like 1.1 million EDPS with this setup, with just a wanted player, and of course, Eins buff and Brook buff. With of course more overheads, it might be even crazier. And of course the Bourbon running. I do have a god Bourbon him, but that's pretty much, it's a big upscale for him, you know, running a Bourbon him. And yeah, I should do the Brook buff now. And yeah, as I've said so many times before, you just want to get 40 notes and you're good off that. And pretty much once Shanks gets to his last upgrade, you know, his last two upgrades where he gets some crazy damage increases. And his last one is the best, of course, because he has like some fat ass half AoE. And he's just hitting basically half the enemy in his range in it, you know what I mean? And most enemies, of course, for these early waves as well. Just making sure that all of these Sun Tributes have the buff. I mean, not buff. Just making sure that the Sun Tributes are thingied, auto rising. And you just want to keep doing your Uma stats. And yeah, around that wave, I think wave 25-ish is when Shank starts getting maxed. And yeah, you can see his effective DPS is nuts. Of course, after a certain point. Well, the next upgrade it goes, it skyrockets a lot. We'll see. I think he can hit 560k DPS with just the next upgrade, which is nuts. Yeah, you can see right now his EDPS is 335k consistently. It does fluctuate a bit, but it's still pretty high, you know. 484k, see? 400k, 488k. This is the next upgrade, of course. you'll see it hit like 500k, 570k. And it is a lot harder to see his actual EDPS because once you're hitting, the more enemies you hit, yeah, it kind of like messes up with it. Of course, if you're targeting and singularly, I guess that's the word, mate. Just hitting one enemy consistently, it pretty much shows the true EDPS. It's just hard to see when there's a lot of enemies being hit. Yeah, but you saw 679k EDPS there. But yeah, this boss just gets slammed, mate. And yeah, now once we get to this upgrade, you can see his damage 2.21 million, roughly 600k EDPS average. But of course, it skyrockets eventually, look, 870k. And maybe I think he'll show 1 million, hopefully. I get to see it in the video. But he does get to 1.1 million EDPS, which is nuts. Does it show up? Please, mate, please, please. Okay, it does not show up, but he can get up to 1 million EDPS, which is stupid as well. And he's a free unit, you know, free unit doing that much. But now we're just putting money into this lore because we want to get him to as high as high of an upgrade we can. Because once we go back to zone 1 later on, he'll be pulling enemies back to where he's standing, which is pretty much perfect. And yeah, Shanks will be dealing with all of these enemies so easily, so you don't have to worry at all. And unluckily, I did fail my stat over there, but it should be fine. You see 930k DPS. And pretty much every 5 minutes you just want to do this proc buff again. Just making sure. And yeah, you will see how much damage we're doing in this Argon boss. It's like 7 million per tick, I'm pretty sure. We'll see. Let's see now. Yes, roughly, I think we're actually doing 8 mil per tick, and that's just Shanks himself. Unless we're just tripping, mate. You just see a massive, yeah, look, chunk of health just getting taken off him. And that's purely Shanks, you know? Such a stupid unit. Yeah, I should have turned to zone 1 now. It was a bit too late. I realized a bit too late where the boss was. And yeah, the boss did not get pulled back. But I still ended up killing him. So if you want to do this strat a bit differently, just switch to zone 1 a bit earlier. So you can pull the boss back to where low is right now. 930k. EDPS 998k. Probably hit 1 million on that part. Yeah, as long as we have our Umas, we're fine. And I should have been slowing this boss with a Stark, but I wasn't. So I'd recommend you guys just follow this boss with a Stark and just slow him. And he transforms over here. So someone missed him. But yeah, slowing him is very important. If you slow him, of course, it'll make this a lot easier. I should have just slowed him, but I was fine. I managed fine. Because you'll see I put one instance of slowing him right here. After that, you went max out emo. I was like, am I killing him? Am I killing him? I don't know, mate. Let's just see. So I just replaced the Stark and just slowed him once. which is all I needed. So first hit, and then second hit slows him, and then yeah, the summons just killed him off. So yeah, if you wanna guarantee he dies earlier, of course, you just slow him from the start. And yeah, once you max this law, you switch to zone 2 and then zone 1 again. And yeah, you see in that small little range, any enemy within this range that gets hit by law, he's gonna get pulled back to his current point, which is a big game changer, you know? It helps the stalling, of course. And you see the Stark at the very front, you can set that Stark to strongest if you want, just so you can effectively stall this boss. And then here I just reset spells and only put these two, because they're the only ones I need. And I do upgrade my irons, but it's pretty much useless, does not make that much of a difference. Because we don't kill the boss, so yeah, you can run a marksman irons if you want. So if you don't have monarch irons, marksman irons works. And then the remaining yen you can just put into another law if you want and have him on zone 2. Just full AoE damage. It's frustrating that the Giyu hit well, he got his immunity part. I don't think it made sure that I think it made it so Law could not pull him at all, which is kind of a bummer. So maybe if I hit the boss earlier, so you can set your Law to bosses after the boss crosses a certain point, so it pulls it back. Or maybe his pull does not work on bosses. I don't know. But you want to be slowing these bosses as much as possible, especially the Giyu boss. The Gouda will die pretty easily, and it's just about slowing the Giyu. So I'm just having Shanks follow him so I can apply the stun on him. And once the boss does leave Shanks' range, I'm just gonna set Shanks back to last. And yeah, I got that slow off, which is nice. And now I set Shanks back to I think strongest, yeah. So he's just hitting the enemies at the back. And yeah, I actually got scared for a sec. I was like, no way I die because of this boss. He was just speed blitzing me. But yeah, enemies, the summons just killed him off. But you want to be slowing these bosses as much as possible. I didn't miss out on a lot of instances of slow. So it probably messed me up. See, it's trying to set the strongest. See, I only have a bit more yen left, so there's a lot of oh my days. There's not much I can do with this yen anyways, so it's just about slowing the bosses. Because these mobs will just end up dying. You can't really kill the boss, which is a pain in the ass, but it's fine. And yeah, set this guy to bosses. Or last, of course. Yeah, summon set off the next set of mobs. And yeah, we're just slowing the boss. Just making sure we're slowing. Well, lucky he's a slow boss, you know. But he has so much health, you know. And the fact there's one more boss after this, there's no way to kill this boss. I don't think so. It's just about slowing it and stalling as much as possible. But I used the Iron Nuke around this point. And yeah, I should have turned the auto skip off at wave 53. Or wave 52 actually. If you slow character, it's 53. But yeah, you see those summons, you just walk past the mob boss, and yeah, that was it. I died. But yeah, that's it for the run. Like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.